That is the most dangerous thing about this car. Trevor just domed himself with the door. You good? All right. Well, to answer everyone's question, yes, we did decide to pull the trigger on this Ford GT. So we're going to be talking about why we chose the Ford GT, why specifically this one, and also what our plans are with this build. The Carrera GT, I'm not going to sell it. There's no way. I gotta have both. And what I really like about the two is they're so similar, yet they're complete opposites. This, I feel, is like the evil, sinister version of the Carrera GT, which is a refined, exotic, German engineered vehicle, versus this American, evil, sinister Ford GT. So it's kind of like a yin and yang. That's why I think, you know, this car is a great car to have. I think in the price bracket that it's at, you're getting a ton for your money. I think they're just going to keep going up in value. This could be a 7-figure car within the next, you know, 5 to 10 years. But yeah, so I fell in love with it. I drove it, I saw it, I absolutely fell in love with just everything about this car. As much as I love the newer cars, don't get me wrong, I love the technology, I love the speed, I love the power, I love the aesthetics of the modern cars, and it's a big part of our business, obviously. But there's something about these older cars that are analog, that are just simple. The simplicity of it is what's so attractive to me. There's no technology, it's just, there's no traction. It's simply, we've got the gearbox, we've got a couple of switches for the headlights and the defroster, AC controls, but no Bluetooth. We've got a radio. There's nothing to it. It's just simple and it's raw. And you have to be paying attention when you're driving. This is actually one of the only cars that I'm scared to drive. And I spent a lot of time with it over the weekend, just making sure it's all good. But the Ford GT is just such a raw, evil animal. I mean, and specifically this one. I love the fact that, you know, it has so much power. It sounds so good. The gauges all face the driver. I also love the fact that I don't have Bluetooth in this car, and I was thinking about getting one of the little transmitters so I can have Bluetooth and hear my own music. And I'm a huge music guy. I love music. I listen to music from the second I wake up to the second I go to bed. And I love having a radio. I love just picking what's on the radio and seeing what there is. Usually it's, you know, 80s and 90s music that I grew up on, and I just love going through the station. Separately, I also really like the fact that there's nowhere to put your phone or nowhere to put your storage. There's a little slot there for your owner's manual, maybe some paperwork, but there's no glove box, there's no console, there's no pockets on the doors. So you're driving this car, you're really driving the car. You're really, really driving the car, and that's what I love about it. Well, another thing I love about this car is how low it is. Without even touching the suspension, just the height of the car is just so slammed, and I love it. I guess a couple downsides to this car. The door situation, I've noticed when you park next to people, it's very difficult to get out of the car. You kind of do this awkward squeeze and tug and roll kind of thing because of the shape of the door. But when there's no car around and you can swing the door open, it's actually really easy to get out because you have all this extra headroom to get out. And other than that, the gas mileage is absolutely horrendous. When I floor it, literally see the gauge move down. But I've been looking for one of these cars for over a year. The main thing I wanted, the most important thing, was stripe delete. I'm all about the stripe delete. You know, they came in a few different colors, but I just love the simplicity of having no stripes on the car. This car came up, and it was stripe delete, and it was black, which is a very, very, very sought out for spec. They made about less than 3% in this combination. It has low miles. The engine checked out, the PPI checked out. And as you saw in the last video, the only thing we were skeptical about was the paint. And come to find out, after speaking to a bunch of different Ford GT owners and different people, this is how they are. The paint isn't great from the factory. The panels all have different textures. If you see a Ford GT with perfect paint, perfect panels, it's likely been repainted. So with a little bit of a color sand, some polish, some ceramic, we can get this car fully dialed into where I'd want it to be. So that's why we decided to go with this car. Something else that I found out was that this has an upgraded Whipple supercharger, which I knew. It has a Ford Performance full exhaust setup on it. which I thought was cool, but I didn't realize how special it was. So apparently Whipple discontinued making the supercharger, so you can't get it anymore. And Ford Performance also discontinued making this exhaust, so there's some value there. And this sound. Lack of traction. You really got to pay attention. You can't hit the turn and hit the throttle, or else you're gonna be spinning out. So obviously it has an upgraded clutch. Can't tell in the video, but it's a lot heavier, a lot more bite than a standard one. It's got the exhaust, it's got upgraded brakes, upgraded wheels, which I'm gonna change out. So plans for this car, wheels are on order. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it is, but it's a very special set of wheels. Brakes are on order, they're from Brembo. Badass set of brakes, custom color. I'm not gonna tell you guys what that is yet either. And we got suspension on order from KW. We're gonna slam this thing on its nuts like we always do, and we're gonna have the luxury of HLS, which is a 4-corner lift, just like the Carrera GT. So it can look good and drive good when you want it to go over a speed bump or you want to get out of a driveway. So very excited for this build, very excited for this car. Obviously we're gonna, we've got the Ford Performance exhaust system, but we're still gonna put our own twist on it, so stay tuned for that. I'm gonna build a badass setup for this car. Oh, I cannot get tired of that. This thing is just manly. This thing is a freaking ride. Well, we're definitely going to keep the Carrera GT, so now we're just removing it has clear bra on the entire car, so it's going to look brand new when we take this wrap off. There's no risk of paint coming off, anything like that, because we made sure to clear bra it beforehand, so you can see here. So excited to see what this looks like in its original form. It's been a minute, so I kind of forgot how good this color is. So seal gray, it's not standard silver, so I think it's gonna look good. It was fun while it lasted, but it's time to change it up a little bit. I like to let it sit in the sun a little bit, makes it a little bit easier. It's almost therapeutic. The guys don't usually let me work on the cars because they're better than me at it, but this gets me away from the desk and away from the fish.